Where do we start? Definitely some mixed feelings about today. Today feels like what's going to be my last day as a full-time wedding photographer. Now, I don't mean this is my last wedding forever, but to give you some perspective, over the last three and a half weeks, I've shot about 9 weddings, and it's that sort of busyness that I'm stopping. Anyway, I've got to go to my last wedding, and I'm starting right up the top of that. I've had a lot of you guys messaging me asking when my next upload is or who my next podcast is going to be with, how the shoe shop's going, how my knee's going, and I think it's time to bring you up to speed. Firstly, let's start with my knee. My knee is still pretty much the same as it's been all year. I can walk on it, but that's about it. I can't really walk for super long lengths of time without it swelling up. But good news, my surgery is now locked in. That's happening at the end of November. Finally, as much as it's going to suck not being able to move for a little bit, I'm definitely excited to be on the road to a proper recovery. As for my podcast, I just simply haven't had time to organize any of them yet, so I'm not too sure yet who's going to be on the next episode or when that would be. I'm hoping that I'll get at least one more out before my surgery happens. When it comes to the podcast though, I've only really had sort of social media people on there at the moment. I'm thinking of broadening that out to some other people like, I don't know, professional skateboarders or business people, just other people that have some sort of successful journey and hearing about their journeys in general, I guess. Okay, let's talk about Balto. Let me draw this out for you. I feel like no matter who you are, anytime you go into business, this is what your journey is going to look like. Or at least for me personally, this is exactly how it's gone every single time. This always starts with an idea. When you first have this idea, you feel like it's going to be easy. You're invincible and unstoppable. And then of course it comes into your head, all the money. You're just going to be rolling in the money. It gets to a peak before it starts to tip the other way. You start to realize how much it costs you to do this business. You feel all alone in it. And all of a sudden it becomes a lot harder than you initially thought. And you start to question, why did I do this to begin with? The cool part of being at the bottom of this low though is there's almost like a little secret passageway back to the start where you come up with a new idea. You have this brand new idea which excites you again. Go through that massive high again, ends in a massive low. So many people end up in the trap of just going around this circle over and over and over and never actually doing anything. And why do they do that? Because that initial high that you get is super addictive. It is the best feeling in the world thinking you're unstoppable. Now, where does Balto fall into all of this? Well, I feel like I've been on this journey many times before and it's always been the same. So when I started Balto, I felt like I already knew what this journey was going to involve. So when I got to that fork in the road, I just decided to keep going, push through it. When you feel like you get through your obstacles and things start to look up again, you start to get on this big high again. And for me, this high was starting the shop. It was all exciting, the exact same process. Felt like it was going to be easier. Once this business is set up, it's just going to boom and all is going to be awesome. I'll be back on track. So I continued that journey and all of a sudden the lows started to come, which I expected. For example, my knee happened right before opening. Financial struggles, time struggles, the everything struggles. And I feel like I've been at the bottom of that next low for the last few months. But see, during this process, I've learned one massive thing that I've never really learnt before. That little secret passage that sounds like it's the bad thing that you get addicted to and never move forward is probably the most important part of it all. By going through that cycle, you actually discover your passion. It's a lot easier to go through those ups and downs when it's something you are super passionate about. You always feel that level of success because you're doing what you love. Now this one's kind of hard for me to admit, especially on here. When I started Balto, I think there was one thing that I started it for that was more than passion, and that was the money. I think I became addicted to that business side of things more for the money rather than the passion of what I was doing, which is a trap. When you do something simply for the money, you actually don't put in as much effort as you do into the things that you are passionate about. Because as much as I feel like I know exactly what I need to do to make Balto succeed, my head the whole time has just been on this. I'm spending more time thinking about my content creation than I am my actual Balto business. And that's super dangerous. I've now decided to turn this store into appointment only. So I'm no longer going to be coming in here every single day, just trying to run the place from in here. The business has still predominantly been online. So with me coming in here every single day, 6 days a week, I just couldn't justify how much time I was spending in here when there's a lot more I could be doing outside of these walls. The original goal for this place was to be able to hire someone full-time to run the place in here, but I just simply couldn't justify doing that either when the revenue coming through the building alone it just couldn't justify adding another expense of a full-time staff member in here, especially when I'm just getting more business from the online store anyway. So obviously if it starts to get really busy and the need does come to necessitate a full-time staff member, then I will definitely do that, but for the time being, I don't feel that it's going to need someone in here full-time for now anyway. It's so hard to know if all these decisions I'm making is the right decision to make, but all you can do is just follow your gut, follow your heart, and that's what I'm doing here. So yeah. For all of you guys who used to pop by and say hi while I was in here, thanks so much. It's been so good to meet so many of you. So really do appreciate that, and really appreciate all the support you guys have shown me with this. It's taken me a long time to make this decision, but I'm all in. I'm going 100% all in on content creation. My passion has been all about this for a long time now, so I'm going to take the leap and just go for it. A lot of you know my brother, and well, I'm actually jumping on board again with him. I'm going to be helping him out with filming and editing, and even helping alongside getting brand collaborations and all of that sort of stuff. This is going to allow me to have some sort of income while I'm building my own brand, and it just also allows my head just to be always in content creation rather than trying to juggle it, go from one thing to another to another to another. Wedding photography as from now is scaling back to about maximum 10 a year. And for Bolto, I'm not giving up on Bolto. I'm not quitting, I'm not selling it, I'm not doing anything with it yet. I'm just gonna let it run on autopilot for a little bit, because I definitely want to do something with it at some stage, but for now I'm just going to focus on building my channels and creating content. And I don't know, down the track I'll probably bring it back, I don't know, I guess a sort of merch sort of sense. So yeah, I'm back and even more keen than ever, especially now that I've done all my weddings for the year and Bolto is now appointment only. I've freed up so much more time to be doing all of this. So yeah, I think that's it. Wait, no, if you haven't subscribed already, you still have to do that. All right, that's it. See you next time.